Hello and welcome to this week's episode. They've been doing it all day, sir. How are we 26 rounds through the NRL season? I hope you got your toilet water ready. Let's go.
I like it. How's your week been, mate?
Yeah, it's been good. On the way over here, do you know the film Back to the Future?
Yeah.
I was driving along and a DeLorean pulled up next to me. And I was like, is that a DeLorean? Isn't it a DeLorean? And then on the back it had a sticker bottom. I thought it was going to take off and power back to 1988 or whatever it was.
That is quite funny because I was reading something the other week about how a man got arrested for speeding, trying to go at 88 miles an hour in a DeLorean. And his excuse was he was trying to travel back to the future.
Wasn't in Sydney, was it? Wasn't in Seaforth, anywhere near Seaforth where I was driving past?
Somewhere in America, I think.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, my week, been quite a quiet one, actually. Yeah, we didn't have any antics over the weekend. Obviously, Manly were playing away from home. Didn't go along and watch. Thought I'd stay at home, just watch this one on TV. And then we bumped into each other on Sunday, didn't we? That was a bit of a strange one. At the, where were we? Cromer Park.
Yep.
We went along. You were watching someone in the women's final, Division 1?
Yeah, the second grade.
Yeah,
Manly
second grade.
Yeah, Manly Vale, second grade, I think it was.
And then some of my wife's friends were representing in the premiership final.
Yeah, the first grade, yeah.
Unfortunately, both teams that we followed
Yep, didn't win.
lost. Yours lost 2-1 in normal time, and my wife's friends lost on penalty 6-5. Hate to hear it.
You do.
Hate to hear it.
You do.
But yeah, how's your week been?
Yeah, pretty much the same, to be honest. Pretty chill. Nothing to write home about. Just ticking along nicely, you know, week by week. So yeah, just pretty chilled one compared to previous weeks, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, I mentioned to you just a second ago, but today, whilst I was at work, I was walking around the offices and I saw on the lower floor Buzz Rothfield sitting outside having a coffee. And one of the things he mentioned on Fox 360, NRL 360 this week, was in order to remove the teams resting players, that a wildcard playoff should be introduced. What are your thoughts on it?
Stupid. It's stupid. They've earned the right. These teams have earned the right to be able to do that. If they've cemented themselves in the top four, know that the top 8, and they know they're not going to make the 4, they can do whatever they want. It's their squad. They can do what they like with it. To then extend it to the top 10 and then in the finals, you then need to extend how many teams are in the comp. You can't have 17 teams in a comp, and
can't have teams in the bottom, into the bottom half of the table, a chance of making finals.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I do think though,
it's a ridiculous idea.
If you think to NFL structures,
yeah,
the wildcard system in that works well because there is a large volume of teams across 2 conferences. Like you said, maybe when
it's 30, how many teams in the NFL?
32 teams.
32, yeah. So
when there's 20 teams in the league, you might top 10 teams and 7 to 10 have a wild card weekend, which then gives the top 6 teams a week off, which might help the finals. It might improve fan engagement in more numbers, more viewing figures. Like when you think about this as a business, it might help out. But Manly would be sitting in 10th now. Yeah. And we'd be playing a wildcard game against Penrith.
Yeah, but don't really deserve to be there.
No.
And this is the thing that I do sit back sometimes and look at and go, when it comes to the back end of the season and fans are like, oh, we need to get in the 8. Oh, we can do it. We can mathematically do it in the last game of the season. It's like you then look at it and go, if you've got to rely on a 80-point swing, do you really deserve to be there in the first place?
Here's one to think about, though. You saying that, arguably the form team at the moment, okay, they've not played the greatest of teams, but it's the Parramatta Eels, right? Yeah. And you'd argue that teams that are coming into form at the back end of the season are the ones you want in the final series because of an entertainment factor. Now, I'm not saying the Parramatta Eels would win it and they cause damage against any of the top teams, but let's say they snuck into 10th spot. I know they mathematically can't now, but snuck into that 10th spot. They would be the form team going into the finals, and maybe, you never know, could cause a little upset.
I'm not sold on it, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, fair enough. But, I mean, there's a few teams on the slide in the top 4 that I'd arguably have over... I'd have the Eels... No, I wouldn't shut up. But talking of that, Standout, we've got 1 week left of this season, 1 week left of the regular season. Thought it'd be a good time just to talk about some of the standout performers of the year, and maybe some of the players that have been a little bit, or teams that have been a little bit underwhelming. We'll do a full season review once the season finishes, and the finals could influence this massively. But who are some of your standout performers of the year so far?
So we've obviously for this we've got notes in front of us and things like that. And I think one person that's been missed because of injury, who was a massive influence in the second row for Canberra start of the season, is Matty Nicholson.
Yeah. Can't argue with it.
I think he's had a great season, debut season in the NRL, coming over from the Super League.
Yeah.
And playing the way he did and with the way he started the season, I think he had a fantastic standout performance up until he got injured.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it in general, the NRL looks down on the Super League as a league. So players,
flip side to that, you look at Lewis Dodd.
Yeah.
At the Rabbitohs.
Precisely. So from the NRL to the Super League, this is a retirement track. Whereas coming the other way, you really need to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And I think up until he got injured, Nicholson did.
Yeah, I agree. Unlucky that he broke his ankle, broke his leg.
Yeah.
Some of the ones for me that have stood out are the two that are made. The one that made Origin in Robert Toia. I think he's been fantastic. Out down there for the Roosters. He's part of the reason why they're pushing for kind of this final spot. He's solidified that centre position. But to me, Leka Halasima for the Warriors has been a huge standout performer. Just the way he's one of these two is going to win Rookie of the Year. Burst onto the scene, Mika Richards-esque, when he ran the length of the field against the Tigers on a cold Saturday, Sunday night, whatever it was in Campbelltown. But another few notable mentions, I think Herbie Farnworth.
Yeah.
You talk about players having to come over. I know like he played for other NRL, like played for the Broncos, but he's had an absolute standout season. But another big standout for me, Mark Nawangani-Tawase. He's been incredible. What an acquisition from rugby union. But one that's gone under the radar, who's performed seriously well over the last few weeks, Tolu Kola.
Unreal. He's been an absolute wedge of a human in the centre for Manly. His speed, his performances have been unreal and incredible. For someone that you sort of at the start of the season, you rate and you're sort of unsure of where he sort of sits. But I reckon this season was definitely his coming of age season.
Heard a stat earlier that his dad was I think he's Tongan heritage, I think. Was a Tongan 100-metre runner and ran like a 10:50 or 60-something time, which explains where he gets his speed from. Like he showed glimpses of it last year when he played at fullback, and then also in that finals game against the Bulldogs where he won the game, running with one boot or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So we knew he had it in him. Any teams that you reckon have stood out for you this year? I've got one clear one.
There is one massively clear one. You look at the 8 as it is. Do you know what? Up until they started slipping off, you've got to say the Warriors.
That comes down to the Metcalf injury.
Yeah. They were really, and the Dolphins as well. Like again, if it wasn't for a couple of injuries, you could have said they would have been really standout performers because you got I suppose one half of the Bulldogs. You've got to tip your hat to them and say they've had an absolutely outstanding season to get where they are and cement where they are.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to go with the Bulldogs with the honourable mentions of the what could have been for the Warriors and Dolphins.
Yeah, Raiders for me tipped them to finish bottom, which was probably the worst tip I could have made. Look, I think it's because they lost a lot of key players over the last couple of seasons and didn't look like they'd replace them from what we saw of weeks. I suppose linking onto this, people that have stood out, Ethan Strange, like he's been fantastic as well. But others for me, like last couple of standouts, Xavier Coates, probably the most lethal finisher. Imagine him and Marky Mark like on opposite wings. That'd be ridiculous. Daniel Tupou, again, another one and then one player that's performed really well at the start of the year and has kind of just ground it out week in, week out, Terrell May for the Tigers. I think he's been a big impact player. But let's flip it and go to, not going to call them flops, but let's call them underwhelming. So players that we expected more from, or teams that we expected more from.
I saw this man's contract, I think it was. So I'm going to go for, to start it off, Jerome Luai. He's on $1.2 million at the Tigers. And he's had quite a quiet season.
Yeah.
For who he is and what he can do, I just don't think it's been there for him. There's been glimpses, don't get me wrong, but I
reckon the saga of the Lockie Galvin has caused a... I mean, on that, could add Lockie Galvin into this. Like all the hype around him going to the Bulldogs. Has he really performed? Don't think so. I can't get beyond Manly. Like, no. I know they're our team and I know there is disappointment, but for people say, stacked rosters, like the Titans should be finishing. If you look at their team on paper, they should be finishing in the 8. You look at most other teams, they should be finishing in the 8. But Manly are seriously stacked with talent, and who knows what it's come down to. But I think there's certain players specifically within that have underperformed this year compared to previous years. I think Turbo, last couple of weeks, shown like what he can do, what he can get back to. And unfortunately, I don't know whether it's because of the head knocks, but Jake just hasn't been the same player that he was last year. He's given away a lot of penalties this year. And hopefully rests up and comes back next year. You got any thoughts on others?
Go on, that's that sort of pigtailed DCE, absolute awful season from him for the majority of it. Again, last couple of weeks showing glimpses of what he can do, but what's the point? It's
because he's trying to earn that contract in the Roosters,
but it just means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, a few other. I mean, the Cowboys have been disappointed. They're another team on paper that you could say, and look, they took the Broncos real close this last weekend. Dom Young didn't have the impact at the Roosters that everyone thought he'd have. Ended up back at the Knights, and he's showing glimpses, but we're talking about the Knights here. And what do you reckon about this one? Nathan Cleary, bit of an underwhelming season.
I think I think you can. You look at his season. You stand back. You look at his season as a whole. It's not been amazing. Had a very poor origin. Had a very poor start of the season with the Panthers, and
injuries.
Last couple of weeks, he's been missing the golden points to win the games.
Very true. Very true. Usually has ice in his veins, not this time.
I know. You could probably argue that one quite comfortably.
And then this is what I mean, though. Like, maybe we're sitting here in 5 weeks' time at the end of the final series and he's just pulled off an absolute blinder. And then we're like, that's what Nathan Cleary does. But another few, I think, that I just listed down here. I think Big Nelson, Asafa Solomana, he's been sloppy this year. Like, paid decent for a front rower, and he's just given away too many penalties, been sloppy in his play, injuries, and Kalen Ponga. I think his first try was when we were up in Newcastle, and he scored the winner in golden point.
Just sums that up, really, doesn't it?
Sums it all up. But there's a few more players out there that I can't really, none of them spring to mind that stand out, but the ones that are mentioned there kind of are the big ones. But look, like we say about Nathan Cleary, there's still time for them to turn it around. And we could be sitting here, we say it all the time with egg on our face when he's lifting 5 in a row. But let's get on to round 26, the penultimate round of the regular. I can't believe how quickly this feels like it's gone.
Absolutely flown.
It's absolutely flown by. But we're going to start down at Cogra Oval. The Manly Seagulls defeat the St. George Illawarra Dragons 40-24. And again, we say it week after back-to-back weeks. Where has this performance been all season?
It's infuriating. It's absolutely infuriating.
What's Corey Waddell doing scoring 2?
Just going over like he's a prime second rower. Again, just Turbo hitting the holes, DC creating passes, Kola just running absolute riot. I've got no explanation to talk about where it's come from, and all I can say it's quite disappointing to see that the team had it in their locker all season and have by all means looked to have down tools and not played because of issues within the ranks.
And I know he's on kicking duty, he's taken over from Garrick, but DC scored 18 points last week.
Yeah,
didn't score a try last week, but this week scored a try and scored 16 points, 34 points over the last 2 weeks. Like, it's It is frustrating. The creativity's there. We talk about this pass back on the inside, it not working.
Yeah, Corey's going over.
All of a sudden, like I know his Instagram handle, he's got a cooking program, or Instagram is Corey Eats, but he was eating. He was eating meat pies. He was eating 2 of them, and he went over back on the inside twice. I'm like, why? How have we managed to do this?
What's changed to not be able to read that? Like it's. One thing I've noticed is that Brooks and DC just haven't had as much pressure on them as previous weeks.
They did start doing. They were more keen off a turbo actually. When he filtered into the line, they were flying out of the line towards him.
And also the halves were moving. They weren't catching the ball dead. They were actually moving before getting the ball, so there was movement around it instead of being flat-footed. So, you know what?
Injuries.
It's annoying.
I mean, there were rumours that Paseka was going to come back this week.
No,
I'm glad.
There's no point.
I'm glad he's not coming back because, I mean, look, we lost Tolu Kola as well. It looked a little bit innocuous. Didn't really see the replay of it. But torn his MCL out for 4 to 6 weeks. Probably best case scenario, given that if it was ACL, that would have hampered his pre-season.
He's got the whole off-season to recover now.
Yeah, which is good because 2026, Manly's year. Stick it in the bookmarks. We're
2026.
We're coming for you. Up next, though, team that are on the slide. Warriors defeated by the Parramatta Eels, 26-22. I called this one.
I know.
I said the Eels would win away, and they did. Contentious moment in this one. Disallowed try. Adam Pompey went over, and there was a lot of scrutiny around the bunker, but to me, hits his fingers. It clearly goes from travelling to hitting fingers and going directly down. Like I don't see how people can argue with it.
No, it's not. I completely agree with that. It's worrying though for the Warriors side of things.
It is
because they're still fighting.
They're going to be one and done in finals, surely,
to get into the 4, and they're playing a pretty strong team against Manly as well. And a week before the finals, you don't want to be doing this. Like going back to what we were talking about at the start, is like you want to be able to rest your players like the Panthers have, to give yourself the best chance in the finals. But they're having to go out full tilt against the Manly team who are hitting a bit of form. DC's last game at home, like they're not going to be a team that's going to take it lying down. So I do worry about where this Warriors team are going to end up going.
Well, the Sharks have got the Knights. The Broncos have got the Storm, and the Storm have actually named a fairly strong side for this. So if the Warriors don't win, they finish 6th, which means they then face the Panthers. Week 1. And the Panthers are still at risk of finishing 8th. If the Roosters, who have the Roosters got again this week? The Roosters have got...
no,
they haven't got the Storm.
Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong week.
The Roosters have got...
Rabbitohs at home.
Of course they have. Rabbitohs at home. So that's like Latrell Mitchell's not playing, but it's one that they could win, and that could leapfrog. They could leapfrog the Panthers. I wouldn't want to play either of those teams if I was the Warriors. I wouldn't want to play Panthers or Roosters, knowing the form that both of them in. I think Warriors are week 1 and done. We were going to try and get our mate on, Will, but he decided to go skiing instead. So maybe next week we can get him on as a preview, a finals preview, and see how confident he's feeling. But good end to the season for the Eels. They're going to be one to watch for next year.
Yeah, I massively bookmark that. I think they are going to be cooking next season.
Definitely. But a team who had their last game of the season on Saturday, and I just want to shout out their glow-in-the-dark kit.
Awesome.
The entrance was something else. This is completely off topic, but... Back home, there's a American football team called the UWE Bullets. They're a university team, and they posted up a picture which looked like they had a glow-in-the-dark kit. So I messaged my mate, who's one of the coaches on the team. I was like, NRL team over here have got a glow-in-the-dark kit. Ain't that what you guys have got? He's like, mate, we play at 3 o'clock on a Saturday in the daylight. Why would we be having a glow-in-the-dark kit? I was like...
Fair point.
He's like, yeah, when we're playing Aberystwyth away in the middle of the day, why would we have a glow-in-the-dark kit? I'm like, yeah, fair enough. But the Cowboys look slick in this, and they put in a slick performance as well.
They did. They looked sort of solid, but Broncos put in even slicker performance.
It's because Reece Walsh is drinking toilet water.
This is weird, man.
This is why.
Early signs of CTE already. Like, why would you do that And secondly, why would you post it anywhere where it's going to be reshared?
Even if you're like, do you know what? I'm going to do this as a bit of banter. I'm going to do this as a joke. What
weird, man.
bit of banter is drinking bog water? Like he said, apparently it was a new toilet, and then I see this meme going around about the plumber definitely christened that toilet before.
I was just about to say that toilet. No, he's living in La La Land.
It's absolute disgusting behaviour.
Yeah.
But they snuck out a victory, 38-30, high scoring game.
Yeah, massive.
It was last game of the weekend as well, weren't it? Great game to finish on. Broncos, if they beat the Storm this weekend, they're secured in the top 4. But
which has sort of come out of nowhere, to be honest.
It has. And
they've gone on a bit of a march.
They're 4-1 last 5 games, so they're not doing too bad. They're a dark horse, I reckon. It's going to be a seriously tight finals series. But this next game, Storm Roosters, like Storm raced out to a 10-0 lead, and you're like, oh, this one's done. This one ain't going to happen. The Roosters ain't got Sam Walker.
Yeah.
And then in Craig Bellamy's 600th game, the Storm produced a stinker of a second half, 40 unanswered points, and the Roosters they were toying with them. They were, Big Marky Mark was having fun. He was running down the wing, he was scoring for fun. Tupou, it was ridiculous.
And we have said this. Well, I've said it about the Storm for a while, and it's actually taken a while for a team to actually stick one on them. But I suppose they had a fair few. Saying that, they still had Cam Munster and the likes of Warbrick and Anderson playing. Like, they didn't have Xavier Coates, but who we knew it was going to be a ball game on the wingers when you lose Coates. But to ship 40 at home,
I know,
2 weeks outside of the finals. Like, you look at the Panthers Bulldogs game. Panthers had a nobody team, and that was still a relatively competitive game. Whereas this one, the Roosters just ran away with it. I
reckon if this would have been a closer game, as in score, like if the Roosters still would have won, but it would have been a closer game, the Storm would have rested a lot more players this week because they're playing, they're clear of second. Like if the Bulldogs win this weekend, it doesn't matter because their points difference is significantly better. So they're not going to jump them. The Storm have cemented second. So I reckon it's a bit of a rocket up the backside to say that's unacceptable. We need to be in better form going into the finals.
Yep.
So that's why they're not. I think a Toia Kamano's out and someone else is out. But other than that, like they're pretty much giving it a good shot. But yeah, Roosters. If you want to talk about dark horses, they are a team.
They are.
That the bottom, the 5 to 8 is looking scary. Like Sharks, Warriors, I'm not too convinced about. But any of the others, I think they could cause some serious problems.
Yep.
And the team that just absolutely blew me away in my prediction and my tip of them finishing bottom of the ladder. Clinched the minor premiership at home. Against the West Tigers, 24-10. Fair play to them. Like this was close. It was tight at halftime. I think it was halftime. It was a close game.
Yeah, a bit nervy for them, wasn't it?
But then the Raiders, and in particular, one player I'm looking forward to seeing at Four Pines Park next year, Jamal Fogarty, just commanded the ship. Like was moving it around. And do you know what? The more I see still pictures of this geezer,
he's stacked.
He is wedged. His arms are massive.
I'm like,
this is the commander in general that we need in the middle. His kicking game. Just how high he boots the ball in the air. Like everyone's just always nervous about catching the ball. I'd say get him to Brookie. Get him to Brookie. But yeah, they're looking good. Like if I'm honest, I think the Raiders are the clear favourites at the moment. But playoff Penrith, finals Penrith are a different animal.
They very much are.
Raiders haven't necessarily got the experience for the finals, but Sticky Ricky in charge. He's got the leadership skills. He's won a premiership before, so watch out for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair play to them. And they've done it in front of their home fans as well.
Exactly, which is really nice, isn't it? It's really nice to be able to lift the trophy in front of your home fans.
Hell of a shield as well. It's massive.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But they deserve it. They've kept up form all season. They had their little blip of where they were only turning up for a half for a couple of weeks. And they sorted that out. But now they've looked a different animal all season, to be fair to them.
Yeah, and a team that had a chance to get off the bottom of the table, the Gold Coast Titans.
So I was on verge of 8 from 8 with my tips.
Was this the only team that let you down?
Yeah, Titans were the only team that let me down.
Wowzers. Well, at one point, it was 18-0. They were 18-0 down, weren't they? And then they brought it back to 18-0, and you're like, here we go.
Yeah.
And then they nearly done it at the end as well. Dolphins raced out to a bit of a lead, and they just kept them within touching distance, but just couldn't get it over the line at the end, losing to the Dolphins 36-30. But the Dolphins just seem to be scoring points for fun.
They do. Like, even though they lost to Manly, they've scored 66 points in 2 weeks. Granted, they've still conceded 80 odd, but you know, they're never down and out. And
I was thinking about this earlier. They lost Jack Bostock as well early in the season, who was scoring for fun on the wing, like long legs, good finisher. They lost Herbie Farnworth, obviously. Next year, if they manage to keep them all together,
a couple of decent signings.
Yeah, they're going to be pushing for 8, maybe even 4.
Eels and Dolphins got to watch out for them.
Yeah, but a team that I think deserve the wooden spoon. I actually have seen more out of the Titans over the last number of weeks than I have the Newcastle Knights. Got battered by the Cronulla Sharks, 40 points to 16. Knights were 10-0 up at one point in this. And then it all went south. The Sharks just, I don't know. Like, I've not got much to say about the Knights. Bradman Best was about the only thing that was trying.
Nothing really I think they'll be extremely disappointed with their season.
What does your mate say about supporting the Knights at the moment?
I haven't spoken to him about it, to be honest.
Does he not bring it up?
No. Might drop him a message. See if he's okay.
Do you want to come on and review the season? We should get him on.
I'll get him on.
Review the season. How does it feel finishing bottom of the ladder when next week the Titans overtake them? I don't even know who the Titans have got. We'll go through that in a second. But
no, it's. But to be fair, it'd be quite nice. The Titans have got the Tigers and Knights have got the Eels. So that's.
I tell you what, that's got Knights' potential last day of the season, bottom of the table.
But one thing I want to suggest, which I think will a bit of a sneak preview for the viewers, but when we go through our table predictions, what we should do is you get 3 points for if you get the team in the correct spot, but then you get a point if you've got them either side. So, for example, if you've got a team that's finished 5th, but you had them at 4th, you still get a point.
Yeah, and see who's got the most out of that.
Well, got the most points.
I get 0 points for Raiders, so I know that already.
But I could be starting on 6 points if the table finishes as it is today, because I had the Titans finish bottom and the Knights to finish 16th.
Fair play. And then the first game of the weekend, which kicked off on Thursday night.
Yeah,
bit of a letdown because we had this discussion last week, and I do think the Panthers let their fans down a bit in terms of not picking.
I don't care. Do you know they're in the finals? That's all they need to worry about. Rest players and play hard. Or what would you rather have? What Manly have gone for and have your best 13 out there and not be able to perform week in, week out.
Yeah.
Or be in the finals and just watch your New South Wales Cup, your second grade team get.
And do you know what? They didn't look too bad to start off with. They were up there. They were in their face. And the thing that killed them though was the Bulldogs' line speed. Like
it is fast.
And I've never played the game of rugby league before, and I've never been played, especially at the NRL level. But it felt to me that they just couldn't read the game as quick as the Bulldogs in defence. Like they were up in their face. They couldn't move it quick enough. But the Bulldogs prevailed 28-4. One big one for them. They've lost Jacob Carraz for 4 weeks. There was talk about it potentially being a syndesmosis injury and being out for longer, but bit of a loss for them going into finals. He's definitely one of the better wingers that they've had all year. But they put in a good show and they did what they needed to do. They beat an underexperienced Panthers side, tucked them away quite nicely. But it's hotting up in the race for the top 8.
It is very, very nicely.
We've got a few fixtures that we're going to go through, which might determine where we think they're going to finish at the end of the season. But the spots that are up for grabs, 4th and 8th, they're the 2 ones that are in the spotlight. And as we've mentioned, the wooden spoon.
The wooden spoon
is still up for grabs. So looking at the points difference, I'm just looking at the spoon now. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh yeah. The Knights have a worse points difference. So all that needs to happen. They've only got bloody 5 and 6 wins all season, but the Titans need to win. But let's get into round 27, kicking it off on Thursday night. We're at the Suncorp. The Broncos, $2.25 against the Melbourne Storm at $1.65.
I'm going to go Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to be an absolute beast to secure the top 4. I think we're going to see some of the best football from the Broncos this season. And I think the Storm, with their sort of poor form, are going to get caught out again. And I don't think the Storm are going to win it.
I noticed Jerome Hughes has been named as starting, which
seems a bit risky.
A little bit risky. Xavier Coates isn't.
Yeah,
he's in the reserves, I believe, isn't he?
No, he's back.
Oh, is he? Have I just completely skipped past him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he is on the wing. Yeah, I reckon Reece Walsh is toilet water.
Yeah.
He's going to get him over the line. And I think the Brisbane Broncos are going to win this one, cementing themselves in the top 4.
And for the final time on Friday, 6 o'clock kickoff, DCE's Manly are at home against the New Zealand Warriors.
Might not be the final time.
What, playing for Manly at 4 Pine Park? Do you think there's going to be a massive U-turn?
Well, he can't play at 4 Pines Park. But
he may play at 4 Pines Park for another team.
But what I mean is, I reckon you never know. The Roosters could ship 40. We could score 50.
Not at all. I don't think that's going to happen. Well, we've got the Seagulls at $1.51 against the Warriors at $2.56.
Look, team's been named. Both have gone pretty strong given what they've got available. Tolu Kola, obviously, I think a big loss. Big loss. It feels like we've been saying this all season.
Yeah.
Paseka, big loss. Nathan Brown, Alawai, all these people that have got injured, big losses.
Constantly.
Olakau'atu, big loss. But Joey Walsh has been named at 14. He is going to be making his NRL debut. Saw him in Manly yesterday, just sitting there on the wall, chilling. Rumoured that he's going to be coming on for Luke Brooks. He's going to partner DCE in the middle. I reckon he's going to carve. I reckon DCE is going to carve. I reckon Manly are going to carve it up. And we're winning this 20 plus.
Yeah.
The Manly Seagulls.
I'm joining that bandwagon and going to be saying the exact same thing. Just going to be an unreal performance to finish off the season.
I reckon Caleb Navale is going to get an actual try this week, not a penalty try.
Go on, Navale.
I reckon he's been impressive. If he's not in the 30, starting 7, or the 17 next year, someone needs their head rattling. But what a game after this. We got the Sydney Roosters at $1.28 against the South Sydney Rabbitohs, $3.73. The local of localist derbies.
And the Roosters are going to come out on top. Sorry, I don't see any other way, to be honest. Sam Walker's back in there. The Roosters are on an absolute charge at the moment, and I just can't see the Rabbitohs stopping them.
I agree. It'd be nice for Alex Johnson. Imagine if he scores 3 in this game.
I was just thinking
if he scores 3 in this game and gets it over the line against the Roosters and scores 50 on them, and Manly score 50, and then next thing you know, we're in the 8 because the Dolphins might lose. Highly unlikely. But for me, can't see anything other than the Roosters. I reckon this is them laying it down.
Yeah.
I reckon they're going to absolutely stamp authority on this, and they're gonna power through them.
And then we're down at the Wynn Stadium for the first game on the Saturday with the Dragons at $4.75 against the Panthers at $1.19.
Panthers have gone strong. Doesn't surprise me. They're almost back to full strength. Dragons ain't bad down in Wollongong, you know. They ain't bad. But they ain't good enough to beat this Penrith Panthers team that are going to be wanting to put on a show ahead of finals football. So I'm going with the Penrith Panthers in this one.
I think I'm going to join you there. They're going to have to put up a few combinations to start slicking going into the finals week.
And then on Saturday, I've just thought about this. We're at the Seabus Super Stadium. We've got the Gold Coast Titans at $2.10 against the West Tigers at $1.75. And this could be last season's spoon winners handing over the spoon to this season's spoon winners. This is an actual relay spoon bowl.
Yeah,
somewhat.
It is. But you know what? Titans are going to defy the odds after being spoon favourites all season. They're going to win this game. The Tigers are going to be on the beaches. They're not going to really care about it. Titans are going to win, and they're going to avoid the wooden spoon.
Am I going bananas, or did this lot play not too long ago? It feels like this game was fairly recent. Maybe I'm thinking of the Cowboys game. I don't know, but it feels like they didn't play too long ago. I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. But I reckon the Tigers get this one done. I reckon they go with that mentality of let's finish the season strong, get prepared for next year, and they turn over the Titans on away soil.
Yeah, well, they played. Sorry, just to go back, they played at the end of July, and there was 1 point in it at Leichhardt Oval.
Do I want to take that into consideration?
Do you want to change your pick?
I'll keep it with the Tigers.
And then for the last game on the Saturday, we're at the Accor Stadium with the Bulldogs at $1.55 and the Sharks at $2.40.
Third versus fifth. This is probably... So you've got two teams that want to go good finishes to be in form going into finals. This will be a good test for both of them to see where they're at. But for me, Sharks, I think, are looking the better out of the two teams. I'm going to go with the Cronulla Sharks.
Ooh, I'm going to disagree there and go for the Dogs. Dogs at home, they need to finish the season strong to go into finals. So I'm going to go for the Dogs.
Fair play. And then on the Sunday, the early kickoff on the Sunday, never back the early kickoff. Dolphins at $1.22 up against the minor premiership winning Canberra Raiders at $4.30. Got to be their longest odds of the season. There's a reason why.
Yeah, everyone, a lot of changes.
Everyone is on the bench.
I think the changes are going to kill them, and I'm going to go for the Dolphins.
Dolphins are also chasing a top 8 spot, even though they've got a difficult game. A lot of rested players. Tamale getting minutes under his boots and in his legs. Even Timoko is back. Chris is playing. Like, it's not the weakest.
It's not the weakest, but I just...
Yeah. Matty Nicholson back starting in the second row, which is good. And Morgan Smith. I reckon the Raiders have got enough, You
reckon?
I reckon, but I'm going to go Dolphins. I'm going to go for the Dolphins at home, give their fans a good send-off. They're going to beat the Raiders. And
then last game on the Sunday, last game of the regular season, we've got the $1.22 Parramatta Eels against the $4.35 Newcastle Knights.
This is nuts, right? Because the Knights are going to lose this game. The Parramatta Eels are winning. It comes down to the Titans-Tigers. This is
crazy. It's crazy, isn't it?
This is huge. So imagine the pressure. Well, let's say the Titans beat the Tigers, right? The Knights have got to go into this game going, we've got to win.
Yep.
This could be a hell of a finish to the weekend, but I think the Parramatta Eels are winning this, and they're winning it comfortably.
I'm going to join you. I think they're flying into last games of the season. They're going to want to finish the game strong, season strong, and bring it into next season. I'm going to go Parramatta Eels, and the Titans don't finish bottom.
Mad. Well, be sure to like and subscribe and, see our review of round 27, see how many we got right and wrong, see, who finishes bottom of the table. Last bit of business, we'll go back over to England, the old footy. How did Birmingham get on this week?
Lost 2-0 to Leicester away, which, you know what?
Difficult.
We've had 4 games, 7 points from 4 games, considering we've just come up from League One, and in those 4 games we've played 2 of the relegated teams from the Prem. So I'll take 7 points. Yeah,
it's not bad. Jamie Vardy, did he go from Leicester to this Italian team?
I think he retired from Leicester and then left, then went to the Italian team. So I think he was a free agent.
Fair enough. Fancied a bit of cash, but Chelsea beat Fulham 2-0. Nice little Saturday night 9:30 game that I managed to stay up and watch. Real boring. It seems like Premier League football at the moment is
robotic.
Pretty boring. VAR controversy massively. Fulham had a goal disallowed. The PGMOL, whatever their acronym is, have come out and said it was the wrong decision. Goal should have stood. Chelsea would have won 2-1 if it counts, if you want to work on that logic. But João Pedro for Chelsea seems like he could be.
Yeah, it seems like a boy.
Could be a decent signing. But Arsenal-Liverpool as well. I suppose that's one to mention. The old Arsenal fans crying into their cornflakes. The fact that they lost to Liverpool. What a strike, though. I don't know if you
free
saw.
kick. Have you seen it from the ref? Have you seen it from the ref view?
No.
Ref cam. Oh, it's unreal from the ref cam.
Absolutely
It was a lot of the refs are wearing cameras now.
Okay.
And he stood behind it. Unreal. And have you seen the Raya came out and said we've got to get used to these Puma footballs.
Mate, the geezers not even put that much bend on it. Like there were balls in the past that were the swerving all over the gaff, and this one's just been bent into the top corner.
It's stupid.
One thing about Chelsea as well. I know your old man will love this bit of business, but they've just recalled Mark Gay from loan from Sunderland because of
Nicholas Jackson,
Liam Delap.
Oh, okay.
Hamstring. Nicholas Jackson's gone to Bayern Munich. Apparently one of the best clubs in the world. I don't know about that one, but I think he's just a bit soured by.
There should be some rules in that. Like it's you shouldn't be able to recall a loan move like 3 games into the season.
I know, but have you seen that parent club for that sister club for Chelsea, Strasbourg? Right? I don't know who it is, but anyway, Ben Chilwell's gone there. Seems all a bit dodgy tactics, but
yeah.
Anyway, I think that's about it for this week. Formula One, obviously old Australia, mate.
Oscar Piastri won. Yep.
Yeah, he's steaming ahead in the championship now, isn't he?
They are. They're running away with it.
Well, I didn't watch it, but was the old Zandvoort crowd going mad for Verstappen with the old Orange Army out?
Always. They absolutely love him.
Yeah, fair play. But that's another week in the books. That's crazy how quickly everything's going by. Please like and subscribe. Follow along. We're going to be reviewing the season and looking over the final fixtures of the year. A lot going on. But be sure to hit that subscribe button and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you later.